In this video, you and I are going to talk about why your past is ruining your relationships and what you can do to fix it. Now, if you and I have not met yet, my name is Troy, and I want to help you in your life. I want to help you have beautiful relationships, have more success, more abundance than you ever dreamed imaginable. I'm author, speaker, and coach. And without further ado, let's jump into it. So what's going on? Why are you sabotaging your relationship? Because that's exactly what's taking place. You are sabotaging the good in your life. And so I'm going to break this down from a few different levels. But first things I want to look at is what we might call a core wound. And so most humans, almost all humans, have these deep core wounds. Now, one of our most instinctual things to feel is to feel the desire of love or to be loved. And when you feel loved, you feel like you're enough. But for most of us, most of you, right, myself included, we go through life and we don't quite experience that unconditional love. What we actually feel is conditional forms of love. And so what that does is create a deep wound that says, am I enough, right? Am I worthy of love? Am I lovable? Things like that. So if most of you are carrying a core wound that says that, what's taking place when you enter a relationship? And God forbid, let's say someone cheats on you. Someone doesn't give you enough attention. Someone breaks up with you. What takes place? Now, the mind works through stories. So just think about it. Throughout history, we passed on information through story. Like most of the sacred texts, the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, all these things carry stories within them because that's what carries meaning. That's how we pass things on. That was the tradition. That's where our minds kind of work. And so the same thing is taking place for you in these moments. So if you have a core wound that says, I'm not lovable, and then your partner cheats on you, breaks up with you, it reinforces that core wound. And when that wound gets reinforced, the mind is designed for survival and not success. In fact, I want you to, if you can't even repeat that out loud, the mind is designed for survival and not success, which means you have to lead yourself towards success because the mind wants to avoid anything that causes pain. And that hurts when that's your worldview. Like, man, am I enough? Show me that I'm lovable. Show me that I'm worthy. Give me validation. Because oftentimes what's taking place in the mind when you enter into a relationship and then the person breaks up with you. They cheat on you. And so all that gets shattered. But that's not the reality that's taking place. That's just the story of the mind. And what's taking place, though, that you have to understand in the mind, in that moment, is you're in the story. And you're stacking on top of that core wound. So maybe you have an experience where you do get cheated on. They do break up with you. And then you enter into another relationship. And you're all excited. This one seems like the one. It's feeling so good. And something takes place, and they break up with you as well. And you stack a little bit more on top of that core wound. And if you're not aware of what you and I are discussing right now, then what do you start to do? You start to build up defense mechanisms. You start to put a wall around you. You start to get very quick within relationship, meaning that when you enter into a relationship and it starts to feel good, you have to test the situation. Well, let me see if it really is good. Are they who they say they are? Do they really love me? And so you start to poke at the other person. And maybe they even really do love you. They really are into you. But just like anybody, man, if you're getting poked or stabbed by something, you're going to want to get it away from you. And so they break up with you as well. It becomes this repetitive cycle. And you could also even say that there's deeper parts of you that are calling these similar experiences into your life. Like you literally are calling this back into your life. But what's actually taking place is your body, this deep core part of you wants to heal it this time. But if you don't have the awareness that you and I are discussing right now, then you're just going to repeat the cycle. So let me ask you, do you ever feel like you repeat cycles in life? Like the same experiences come back over and over and over again? Well, I want to kind of like open your eyes towards, is there a reality that those are bringing you an opportunity, that this is your moment to create change? And so first, let me create a little story of what this might look like, and then we'll talk about how we can change this situation in your life. So what it might look like, right? Maybe you find that new person. You're like, yo, this is it. Hyped up, feeling it. Vibe is good. We're connecting. Let's go. Let's go. Again, it feels almost too good. And so you want to test the waters. And so maybe they go to the grocery store, right? They take a grocery store. They take off and they're like, I'll be back right back. I'm just going to go get some half and half for coffee, whatever. They take off. They go to the grocery store. You send them a text. Hey, while you're there, can you pick me up some, whatever it is? Maybe they left their phone in the car, so they don't get your text. Then what happens? You're sitting there for a little bit. You're like, damn. You get what's called triggered. Maybe this reminds you of the ex that cheated on you or the ex that broke up with you, or it's reflecting back to you that you're not lovable. They can't even give me enough attention to respond to my text. These are the things that start to take place in your mind because you're being triggered. You know what's called your pain body. You're having a pain body attack. This old energy, this old story, you're being stuck in it. It's circulating once again. And so you respond with another text. Hey, I need this. You said you're going to be quick. What's going on? Right? Maybe it's more aggressive in your tone. Again, the phone is in their car. They're not even getting these text messages. You don't hear anything back. You send another text, even more aggressive and more aggressive, until you literally are just like, yo, if it's not worth it to you, it's not worth it to me. We should probably just break up with each other. They get back in their car. Oh, I forgot my phone. Pick up their phone, and here's all these text messages from you. And then maybe they don't want to be with you at that point. So that's oftentimes what you're doing is you're sabotaging the moment, but it's not your fault. You're stuck in this old energy, this outdated, this old version of you. It just needs to be upgraded. So this is where we're going to create change. Is I want you to realize that these moments, these triggers are just that. They're an opportunity to change. And so when you feel triggered, I first want you to understand you'll feel it in your body. So quite literally, oftentimes, we're going to bring that awareness out of our heads into our body. You're going to feel a contraction. So maybe your voice might even tighten up a little bit. Your shoulders might raise a little bit. Everything might just kind of contract. And then you can ask yourself in the moment, what is the story I'm telling myself about this situation? So now go back to the grocery store story, right? They go to the grocery store. You send the text. They don't respond to your text. You feel that tension in your body and go, what is the story I'm telling myself? I'm telling myself that they're cheating on me. I'm telling myself that they don't like me. Just breathe a little bit. Breathe that energy out. And for something to be a truth, it has to be true what? For it to be a truth, it has to be true 100% of the time. So is it true 100% of the time that when someone doesn't respond to your text, that they don't love you, that they don't want to be in a relationship with you? Of course not. It might mean they just left their phone in the car. It might mean they haven't looked at their phone yet. It might mean they're busy. It might mean they're on the phone with someone else. A whole number of things. So then you remind yourself of that, right? You slow down a little bit. Damn, okay, hold on. I'm in a story that isn't necessarily reality. And so you identify that story. You see what it's causing in your body. You realize you're being triggered. And now here's your opportunity to change the situation, to change the story. And so you literally breathe that energy out. Let me let it go. Let me let that go. As you progress through life, as you mature through life, less control, more letting go. Control in this moment is I have to control what they think of me, how I feel, how other people feel about me. Letting go is how you relax and ease through the rest of your life. So rather than trying to control, you breathe, you let go. Okay, let me let go of that old story. It's an old fucking outdated story. Let that shit go. Let go of the old story. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. So you let go of the old story. Let me bring something new in. Maybe they actually really like me. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they're sidetracked. Let me just let this one go. You come back to the moment, back to the situation. Maybe you only send that one text. Then 15, 20 minutes later, they text you back. Oh my gosh, honey, forgot my phone in the car. Can't wait to see you. I'll go back in and grab whatever it is you asked for. How cool would that be? So what you're doing is you're teaching yourself to respond to situations versus reacting to situations. Now, most people are unaware of what you and I are talking about. Maybe to you, it seems kind of natural. It seems kind of normal. You get this. Maybe you don't. Maybe this is new information. Regardless, the most important thing to understand is that this is natural. This is part of the human psyche. Is you get trauma. The body, the brain, like we talked about, designed for survival versus success, builds defenses around it. Well, I don't want to feel like I'm not enough. I don't want to feel unlovable. I don't want to feel like I'm too much. These are all deep, normal core wounds. So the ego kind of builds around it, the safety mechanism around it, and it avoids situations that might trigger it, might poke at it. And if it does get poked, it reacts to protect itself. It's very angry, very sharp. It's like a little kid just, I want my toy, daddy. It's like that, right? And so rather, the deeper part of you, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, your soul, the core of who you are, the observer, the witness of your thoughts, slows down a little bit. This is why like mindfulness and meditation practices, anything that quiets the mind is so powerful because it teaches you to observe your thoughts and realize that you are not your mind. You are the witness of your mind. And so in this moment, you slow down, you observe your thoughts and you go, wait, I get what's going on right here. I can feel it in my body. I'm stuck in the old story. You know, personally, I have had a number of these triggers. This is part of a lot of my journey was getting a lot of trauma, childhood as an adult, stacking all this trauma to the point where I had what's called agoraphobia. Agoraphobia means you only enter environments that feel safe to you. And typically the only environment that ultimately ends up feeling safe is your home. And you get stuck in your home. And that's where I once was. I was stuck inside. Like I didn't want to go outside everything felt like a threat to me. I mean, the neighbor who was like the 10-year-old neighbor across the street felt like a threat. Like something would happen. He'd get hurt and sue me, whatever it was. Like everything was a threat. And so I finally had to change that reality, go into my body essentially, and kind of relax that energy, change my vibration or my frequency, which is another concept we'll touch at some point, but change these energies and then ultimately change these stories that I had in my mind. Like, wait, dude, that thing that took place in the past is in the past. You're a different person today than you were yesterday. You can handle this completely differently. And that thing that took place was part of your journey, part of your story, part of your test, because without a test, there is no testimony. It needed to take place. You're better because of it. And have this internal dialogue that could just kind of loosen my frame, loosen my reality. And pretty soon, I remember like literally emoting the energy, crying out the energy, expressing the energy, wanting to yell, cry, scream, shake, move my body to get it out and to upgrade the version of who I am. It's almost like you're a reptile. And, you know, a reptile, like a snake, it sheds a layer of skin. When you shed that skin, it's kind of painful. Like they bump up, I'm assuming, right? I'm not, you know, I felt it, but I'm assuming, you know, it kind of like bumps up. It creates friction that goes against the rocks and the trees to kind of help pull that off. So there's friction to help pull that layer off. And then partially, it probably feels really good. Like, damn, I got that off. And also that new version of you is very sensitive. So as you're doing this, as you're going through this process of understanding your triggers, you're going to be extra sensitive. And that's okay. To be sensitive means to have sensation. To be able to sense your way through the world. That's what you want. And so what you're doing essentially is upgrading who you are. You're telling those old parts, those old versions of you, like, hey, appreciate you, love you. You're trying to protect me, but I'm not 7 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old, whatever it was when that trauma took place. I'm not there anymore. I would like to move forward in life. I'd like you to come with me. And so you're doing that and you're allowing relationships to teach you that. Like, quit thinking that relationships are this like awesome thing that are just supposed to be easy. That's part of it, right? Hopefully it's fun, enjoyable, and you bring each other up. And also, I guarantee you there's gonna be part of it that is friction. It's the snake bumping against the rock, trying to peel that layer of skin off. That's one of the things that relationships are masters at, is giving us a mirror into ourselves and a window of opportunity to learn more about who you are, how you can grow, where you can grow. There's always the mirror, right? So if you see something in the other person that frustrates you, annoys you, look at it through a mirror. What part of me do I get annoyed at that looks similar to that? Like maybe they're a messy person, right? Maybe they're late, they're not punctual. But what part of you is exactly the same? Maybe it's not in the same area of life, but maybe it's a different area of life. Maybe you're like that with your fitness. Maybe you're like that with your career. You're like that with your mind, whatever it might be. You go, damn, thank you for being my teacher. And then you can help each other grow. So your relationship can actually be your teacher, your mentor, can help you grow. You can do that with each other. It's a beautiful thing. When you both get on board, you're both willing to do this, to allow your triggers with one another, be your teachers, you can have a beautiful relationship. So that's what I'm hoping for you. That's going to bring a lot of happiness, a lot of joy in your life, because you're going to be maturing. You're going to upgrade who you are. You're going to understand happiness, peace. You're going to desire more peace in your life. When you're carrying a lot of trauma, sadly, that trauma has this like lower resonance of energy, and it likes to create more chaos. So that's also a lot of what's taking place, is as you're evolving, as you're moving through life, you are essentially calling back in that chaos because that's what feels comfortable to you. And so by clearing that energy out, it no longer feels comfortable for you. You won't be interested in those types of things. The gossip, oh, let's talk about these people. Oh, let's get mad at each other. Let's get all turned up about some dumb shit. Like that won't be of interest to you anymore. And so upgrading your nature is a powerful thing because it brings not just better relationships, but allows you to see the light. It's like going into a beautiful place, like going into nature. You got to be able to soak it in. You got to be able to see it. But you can't see it if you can't take in the light. So allow your relationship to move you towards just that, the light. Man, I love you so much. Like I said, I make these videos for you. So if you can do me a favor, pass this along to somebody who it might help. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. And until next time, peace.